Your phone buzzes. It's a text from your boss. Can we talk tomorrow morning? And just like that, your stomach drops. Within 4 seconds, you've already been fired. You've already packed your desk into a cardboard box. You've already rehearsed what you'll tell your family. You've replayed every mistake you've made in the last 6 months, searching for the one that finally caught up with you. You haven't even responded to the text yet. Sound familiar? Maybe it's not a boss. Maybe it's a friend who hasn't texted back in a few hours, and suddenly you're convinced they're mad at you. Maybe it's a doctor's appointment, and you've already diagnosed yourself with the worst possible outcome before you've even walked through the door. Maybe it's someone you love coming home quiet, and your mind starts building an entire story about what you did wrong. Nothing has happened yet, and still, you're grieving something that doesn't exist. If this is you, I want you to know you're not dramatic. You're not broken. You're not too much. Your mind is doing something it learned to do for a reason. And by the end of this video, I think you'll understand yourself a little more gently than you do right now.
Let's slow down for a second, because this pattern deserves more attention than we usually give it. Most people treat this habit, the jumping to worst-case scenarios thing, like it's just anxiety being annoying, a personality quirk, something to laugh about, like, oh, that's just how my brain works. But underneath it, there's something much more human going on. This isn't your mind being irrational. This is your mind trying to protect you the only way it knows how. Here's the psychology behind it, explained simply. Your brain's #1 job isn't happiness, it's survival. And to your brain, uncertainty feels dangerous. Because for most of human history, not knowing what was coming could genuinely get you killed. Was that rustling in the bushes a predator? Better assume yes and run, rather than assume no and become dinner. So your brain developed a shortcut. When you don't know what's going to happen, fill in the blank with the worst possible outcome. That way, you're never caught off guard. You're always prepared. Psychologists call this a form of cognitive distortion, specifically catastrophizing. But here's the part most people miss. Catastrophizing isn't about being negative. It's about trying to gain control over uncertainty. If you can predict the pain before it comes, some part of you believes it will hurt less when it actually arrives. It's not pessimism. It's premature self-protection. Before we go on, if that explanation just made something click for you, that's exactly what this channel is for. Hit subscribe if you want more of these. Now, let's see what this actually looks like in real life. Think about someone who grew up in a house where a parent's mood could shift without warning. One moment things were calm, the next moment they were walking on eggshells. As a kid, they learned to read tiny signals, a sigh, a tone of voice, a slammed cupboard, because predicting the storm meant they could brace for it. Now, as an adult, that same person feels their partner go quiet after work, and their nervous system reacts like it's 12 years old again. Not because their partner is actually upset, but because quiet used to mean something bad is coming, and that wiring never fully updated. Or think about someone who once got blindsided, a breakup they didn't see coming, a job loss out of nowhere, a diagnosis nobody warned them about. After something like that, the brain makes a quiet vow. Never again will I be caught off guard. So it starts scanning for danger constantly, even in totally safe moments, because being blindsided once was so painful that staying on high alert feels safer than relaxing. This is why the person who assumes the worst isn't weak. They're often someone who has been hurt by surprise before and is now trying to outthink pain itself. But here's where it gets deeper and a little more tender. Underneath the anxious, what if it goes wrong thoughts, there's usually a much quieter belief hiding. Something like, I don't think I could handle it if things went wrong.
That's really what this is about. It's not that you think the worst is likely. It's that some part of you doesn't trust yourself to survive the worst if it happened. So your mind tries to solve that by rehearsing the pain in advance, as if suffering it early in your imagination will somehow make the real thing smaller. It won't, but your nervous system doesn't know that. It's just doing its best with old information. And this is what most people get wrong about themselves in this pattern. They think the goal is to stop thinking negatively, to just be positive and hope for the best instead. But that's not actually the fix, and here's why. Telling an anxious mind to just think positive is like telling a smoke alarm to stop being so sensitive. The alarm isn't the problem. It's reacting to something. If you disable it without addressing what's underneath, you're not calmer. You're just less protected and secretly more scared. The real shift isn't about forcing positive thoughts. It's about teaching your nervous system, slowly, through evidence and repetition, that you can tolerate not knowing, that uncertainty is uncomfortable, not dangerous. Those are two very different things, and your body has been treating them as the same thing for a long time. So what actually helps? Gently, without turning this into another to-do list. It starts with noticing the moment it happens, not stopping it, just noticing. Oh, I'm doing the thing again. I'm writing an ending before the story's even started. That tiny bit of awareness creates space. And in that space, you can ask yourself something quieter than what if this goes wrong. You can ask, what do I actually know right now? Not what you fear, not what you're guessing. What you actually, factually know. Most of the time, the honest answer is not much yet. And that's okay. You don't have to have the ending figured out before the story's even been written. You can also gently remind your body, not just your mind, your body, that you've survived hard things before. Not with a fake motivational quote, but with real memory. I didn't see that coming last time, and I got through it anyway. That's not toxic positivity. That's evidence. Here's the realization I hope you walk away with. Assuming the worst was never about being negative. It was about a version of you, maybe a younger version, maybe a more recently hurt version, trying to keep you safe in the only way it knew how. It was love, wearing the disguise of fear. You don't have to fight that part of yourself. You don't have to shame it for showing up. You can simply start showing it something new. That not every silence means danger. That not every unknown is a threat. That you are allowed to wait for the actual answer instead of writing the saddest one yourself. The story hasn't happened yet. You're allowed to let it unfold before you decide how it ends. If this helped you understand yourself a little better today, that alone is worth something. Take care of that anxious part of you. It's been trying to protect you for a long time.